Hola clase. Today we're going to talk about noun adjective agreement in Spanish. So make sure you have your noun adjective agreement note guide available and that you're filling it in as we go through the PowerPoint together. Okay, so for part A, we need to fill in the information given from the video. It asks us what is an adjective and what is a noun. So it tells us an adjective is a word that describes a noun. And remember, a noun is a person, animal, place, thing, or idea. So pause the video and fill in those two questions. So here are some examples of masculine adjectives in Spanish, okay? Trabajador is hardworking, serio is serious, and cómico is funny. Notice that serio and cómico end in O, and those would be adjectives that would be used to describe masculine nouns. Trabajador is an exception, okay? So you'll have to memorize some of those, and we'll talk about some more rules later, okay? And then we have some examples of feminine adjectives in Spanish: bonita, perezosa, and alta. And notice that all three of those end in an A. So at this time, pause the video and fill in the two parts of the note guide on part A that ask for 3 masculine and 3 feminine adjectives. Okay, in English, the adjective almost always comes before the noun. Okay, so some examples of that in English are the serious students. Serious is the adjective, and students is the noun, and in English, the adjective would come before the noun. The pretty girls, again, the adjective is pretty, girls is the noun, and in English, the adjective would come before the noun. Pause the video and fill out that part of part A on your note guide. In Spanish, the adjective usually comes after the noun, so this is different, okay? So instead of saying los serios estudiantes, we say los estudiantes serios. So you just flip it. Okay, you'll say the noun first, and then the adjective. And then here's another example. Las chicas bonitas, the pretty girls. Again, the noun would come first, and the adjective would come after. Okay, so fill in that part of your note guide where it asks you in Spanish the adjective usually comes after, and in English the adjective usually comes before. Okay, adjectives agree in gender and number, okay, in Spanish, and we'll explain that a little bit more. Let's look at part B of your note guide. It says to fill in the chart with the correct form of the adjective alto for each. Okay, so we must make sure that the adjective agrees in gender and number. So for example, on the singular side, if we want to say the tall boy, well, we just talked about how the adjective will come after the noun, which is shown here. But the word chico is masculine and singular, so we want the adjective to agree with the gender and the number, so masculine and singular. Therefore, we would choose alto, el chico alto. Okay, the feminine, la chica alta. Again, the adjective comes after the noun, and because chica is feminine and singular, we want to make sure that our adjective agrees with that in gender and number. So feminine, singular, would be la chica alta. On the masculines, or sorry, excuse me, on the plural side, we have the tall boys. Okay, so we notice again that our adjective comes after the noun, which is different than in English. Okay, and that we want it to agree with the word chicos in gender and number, so masculine and plural, los chicos altos. Okay, and finally, the feminine, plural, the tall girls, we see that, again, the adjective comes after the noun, and that it agrees in gender and number, so that it's feminine and plural, las chicas altas. Okay, I need you to pause the video at this time, fill in those parts of the chart, and also below the chart, the starred section that asks you to write what adjectives in Spanish agree in, that is this part here at the top, okay? So you're going to fill in those two highlighted colorful words to fill in that part of the note guide. Pause the video. Okay, adjectives that end in A are usually feminine, while adjectives that end in O are usually masculine. Okay, so pause the video at this time to fill in part C, where it asks you to fill in the blanks according to the information in the video. So most masculine adjectives end in, you're going to put O, and most feminine adjectives end in A. So here's an example of masculine, el chico simpático. Because chico is masculine and singular, we want our adjective to be, our adjective to be masculine and singular as well. el chico simpático. And quite often you'll notice that they do match up. Not always, but sometimes, okay? The same here with la chica simpática, the nice girl. We see that chica is feminine and singular, so we want our adjective to agree as well, okay? However, adjectives that end in E match both genders. You won't need to change it, okay? So if you want to say the smart teacher, el maestro inteligente, notice it ends in E, and you'll leave that E even if you want to describe a female teacher as intelligent, la maestra inteligente. So pause the video at this time and fill in the next part of the note guide. Adjectives that end in E can be used for both genders. Okay, and on the note guide it also says that another example of an adjective that ends in E is grande. And this is also true for adjectives that end in consonants, like an N, for example. Joven would be used to describe a boy or a girl. Okay, many adjectives that end in a consonant match both genders. So notice here, el amigo joven ends in N. La amiga joven, you wouldn't need to change that. It would be used to describe both a boy or a girl. Okay. Adjectives that end in an R, add an A to that to make it feminine. So look here, el hombre trabajador is the hardworking man. But if we're going to describe a woman as hardworking, we would add an A to that, la mujer trabajadora. So on your note guide, it says that when an adjective ends in R, it is masculine. So add an A to make it feminine. And those examples are listed, trabajador, trabajadora. If you want to make an adjective plural, follow these rules. If it ends in a vowel, add an S. If it ends in a consonant, add ES. So notice here, las chicas trabajadoras. We made girls plural, so we must make our adjective plural. We add an S. Okay. Las chicas inteligentes. Again, inteligente ends in an E. And if we want to make it plural because we want to describe more than one girl as being intelligent, we would add an S. This side shows us what to do if it ends in a consonant and we want to make it plural. So, los chicos trabajadores. Notice here, because chicos is plural, we want to make our adjective plural to agree. If it ends in trabajador, that's a consonant, we add ES to make it plural, los chicos trabajadores. And then the young boys, los chicos jóvenes, because joven would end in an N, we add ES to make it plural, and to make it agree with the fact that our noun is also plural. So pause the video and fill out the last part of part C of your note guide. Okay, practiquemos. All right, fill in the correct translated form of the adjective given. Okay, so let's do the first one together. It says, ella es una persona. It wants us to finish up by putting an adjective in Spanish that means funny. Okay, now we are describing a girl, so we want to make sure that our adjective agrees in gender and number, so it must be feminine and singular. So the correct answer here would be cómica. Okay, pause the video at this time and fill in the answers for número 2 through número 10. Okay, let's check our answers. Okay. Juan es un hombre atlético. We used atlético here because we wanted to translate to athletic. And atlético must agree with the fact that hombre is masculine and singular. Therefore, atlético would end in O. Número 3. Tomás y Juan son unos chicos altos. Okay, we wanted to translate to tall. And not only is it masculine, but it's plural. And unlike in English, in Spanish, you must make your adjective agree in number. Remember, gender and number. So, altos must be plural to describe chicos. Okay, 4. Ellas son las chicas bonitas. Okay, when we translate pretty, it's bonita. And here, because the girls is plural, we have to make our adjective plural as well. Okay. Número 5. Mario es un amigo bueno. Okay. Again here, bueno is the translation for good, and amigo is masculine and singular. Okay. This next one, número 6, is an example of what to do if your adjective ends in a consonant. Okay, it's a little different than the other ones. All right. So ellos son unos hombres sociales. Hombres is plural. Therefore, our word for social, so social, has to become sociales, which is plural. And because it ends in an L, you must add ES to make it plural to match the fact that your noun is plural. Okay, 7. Marta es una mujer honesta. So if she's honest and she's a woman, you must make that feminine. 8. Carla y Viviana son estudiantes trabajadoras. Okay, now we have students here, and it tells us that both of those students are girls. Therefore, when we say hardworking, we need to make sure that that adjective is not only feminine, but plural, because there are more than one student. Trabajadoras. Número 9. Sara es una chica muy joven. Okay, remember that some adjectives don't change. We don't need to change the O to an A to make it feminine for words like joven. Okay, they match both genders. And finally, to say different, for nosotros somos hombres diferentes, we are different men. Okay, again, diferente would end in E, so it would match both genders, but we must make it plural because men is plural. Okay, write any questions you may have on your note guide and make sure you ask them as soon as class begins. There will be a 5-point mini quiz the next day at the very beginning of class. Please take the initiative to watch the video more than once in order to fully and completely understand the content covered in the video and or to help clear up any confusion. And don't forget to fill out Part E of your note guide at this time. Adios!